Hello folks, we're back in Oxygen Not Included to have a preview of the Thermal Upgrade update. This is the first major content patch for the game, and previously we've just had a few bug fixes and stuff like that, but now they've added a load of new stuff. So I've started a new colony, well this has actually been going for 8 cycles now, and we're just going to have a bit of an explore around. Just have a bit of a play around and see what's what in the new update. This isn't finalised yet, and the actual proper patch will come out, well, it'll be in about a week's time from time of recording, which is about the 16th of March. So there'll be a few bug fixes and maybe additions before then, so nah, really. So things are ticking along nicely. I've concentrated my research on getting to temperature modulation, because that's got quite a few of the new things that we're going to have a look at. But first let's have a look at the ice biome, which is brand new. There's a lot of it about. It looks like it's circling the entire place. Well, about half of it anyway, and then it turns into all the stuff like phosphorite. Obviously, your mileage will vary because it is randomly generated, but I've got a shitload of ice here, so that's all going to be all the good. So far, I haven't actually added anything that's new to the colony itself, so we'll do that in the course of this video. So I guess the major thing they've introduced here is the concept of temperature as your ally and foe. So now your duplicants can actually get hurt because they might get scalded or they might get too cold, depending on the ambient temperature. Here's the basic temperature overlay. As we can see, everything's getting a bit warm around the batteries and stuff like that. Fair enough. But there's also a new thermal comfort overlay for when you really want to drill down into problems. This shows the red areas shows where the duplicants are going to be at risk of harm, and possibly also the machines as well, because they can be damaged. What are you doing? Are you idle? God damn it. And there's a bit of a power situation in this colony, I'm afraid. I think because there's been a lot of tweaks and stuff like that, I am finding that all the old patterns that I'm used to don't always work. At the moment I seem to be actually lacking in power. But I don't know, I'm not sure if that's tweaks or not. So what I want to do in this Let's Play is actually dig into here. But first let's just actually check out the heat situation, because I do want to actually start building new things. So if we go into utilities, you start with a space heater, which if you're actually getting, if someone's particularly cold, you can put one of those up and it'll slightly warm things up. But it's not hugely useful right from the start, only from where you actually start to go into the icy biomes or whatever. But I have unlocked, because I've done some research into all the way up to temperature modulation, and also just in farming as well. Actually, in fact, I don't think I'm actually doing any research at the moment. I better select something. Let's go for interior decor. That'll give them something to do. So yeah, the thermal regulator and the hydro fan. Oh, actually, the thermal regulator's old, isn't it? The hydro fan and the liquid tepidizer, they're new. The hydro fan cools things down just a little bit, and the liquid tepidizer, you have to put that actually in water, and it'll slightly warm things up. Because now, if you look at the temperature, the thermal comfort overlay, you'll notice that water is cold, and your duplicants do not like going in water because they'll freeze and possibly die, or their nose will fall off because of frostbite, or whatever really. Yeah, the gas situation, not too bad. Oxygen plentiful up here, starts to get a bit piss down below. Also, I don't seem to be building that bloody compost heap. That should be prioritised a bit, I think. So what I want to do really is bung in a hydro fan. Well, we kind of like, oh god, that's getting warm as well. This room needs to be cooled down a bit, and because this is the power room, and we don't want Matey Boy here getting uncomfortable. So if we build a hydro fan there, I think maybe up here as well. I'm not hugely keen on this whole warmth situation up here, because this is warm, getting towards hot. So let's just prioritise those. I just prioritise everything whenever I'm building them. Oh, hang on, these need to be done. Let's get some food going on. I think I need, when it comes to these planters, I'm not doing them. When you come to these planters, I think you have to use 3 of these things just to provide enough food for 1 colonist, which is quite a lot. I'm not going to rely on it. So this is a bit of a burner colony. It's not supposed to be designed for long term, although it's reasonably enough design. I mean, it'll keep things ticking over. But I'm not like planning far ahead. So there's been a lot of bug fixes, but even so, there's still a few that seem to be creeping through. It still now occasionally tells you that the toilets aren't built. It's a long-term bug, and that still keeps on cropping up. But there are a few things that I've actually got rid of. I'm not going to go into a big changelog. You can go to the forums yourself if you want that. Actually, thinking about it, whilst we wait for those... Oh, actually, that's already built, so we can have a look at that. It's round where the fan is. Nothing's happening yet. I think it actually still needs some water. So we'll actually have to wait for that to happen. What I also want to do is some tailoring, because I've introduced the fact that these guys can now actually wear new outfits. Now let's see, I've got to work out where that is. I think it's in stations. There we go. Textile factory. This needs to be plugged into the mains. So in actual fact, I think I'll actually put it up here, in the hot room. I don't think we'll be using it that often, so I think we can get away with that. We need to power it up, of course, into our rather shoddy grid. We do need more power at some point. We are probably living beyond our means at the moment. In fact, what I might do is bug in another generator. Therefore, anyone who's ligging about the place doing nothing can actually jump in there. I've sorted all this stuff out. Let's have a look at the power situation. Only 2 people are capable of powering. The other ones are a bit shit. Let's leave that to be done. Just having problems with sweeping as usual. I've got rid of a lot of the sweepings, but... Oh, hang on, that needs to be sorted. There we go. But yeah, they're very lazy when it comes to sweeping. So there's a lot of those ugly red things all over the place. Meanwhile, Smarty Poos is actually having a poo. How apt. But if you look over here, even though Matey Boy is running on the generator, we are desperately running short of power. And the batteries aren't really keeping up. They're very low charged at the moment. I need to actually do the research if I want to get better batteries, as per usual. So let's actually prioritise all that, because we will actually need all that. Meanwhile, the fan over here is also built. Still waiting water. And we have water down there. There's loads of water there, so that's not going to be a huge problem. But we are now just basically waiting for them to actually put the water there, so we can actually see how it all works. Right, here we go. Smarty Poos is actually operating it. Turns out you do actually need a duplicant to use it. I didn't actually realise that, which means Smarty Poos has been taken out of commission doing all that nonsense. In fact, I seem to remember seeing this. The liquid-cooled fan. So that's what that does. The missing strings, duplicants, Cho regroups, liquid-cooled fans, desk. Yeah, obviously haven't quite finished that bit yet. But yeah, unfortunately it does mean that you do actually have to tick these boxes. God damn it. Well, Mrs. Do-All, you can do a bit of doing all. I don't really want me strong to be doing that, because there's plenty of other stuff for you to do. Professor Cleancut, I'm going to allow it. Smarty Poos does not do much. Alright, so maybe I'll take Professor Cleancut off doing that. Okay, so it looks like we do actually need someone to do this. So let's have a look at the... well, there's the temperature overlay. As you can see around there, it's absolutely freezing. Thermal comfort... starting to improve? Oh no! Okay, that's bad. As you can see, we're getting feedback that Smarty Poos, who's operating the cold-making machine, is getting cold. Funny that. But yes, you do actually get a little indicator. When someone's too hot or too cold, you'll get the little frosty icon, or a little sort of like hot icon. If you're doing research in an area where, or whatever, and things are getting really hot, the machine and indeed the duplicant can start complaining about things. And oh, look at that! They're all eating. They're all eating in the in this particular area. Meanwhile, the textile factory is now ready to go. So let's see, what do we actually need to make these people? We can have a snazzy suits. Increases the decor in a small area effect around the wearer, so everyone will look rather smart. Or we can actually get some protection going on. So, well, let's try getting a warm sweater, because actually for once this is actually going to be quite useful. The fabricate one thing instead of fabricate endlessly. So I'm going to give them, not everyone, but most people, I'm going to give, in fact let's just do one for everyone. So we're going to make warm outfits for everyone, and then we're going to do a little dig into the ice. Meanwhile, Smarty Poos is probably, yeah, you probably don't need to be doing this forever. There are clever ways, I'm sure. Like you'll work this out yourself if you play this game a lot. And I know a lot of people on things like the Reddit and the forums or whatever spend a lot of time coming up with all the intricate interplays between all the various systems. I'm a bit simpler than that. But I'm sure there are ways to actually automate things so you don't get too cold or too hot or whatever. For the time being, I'm going to take him off this duty. I'm going to disable building for now, especially now we've seen what's going on. And you can go and do something else. That hydrofan's also. Let's disable that one as well. Because at the moment things aren't looking too... Oh my god. That's weird, isn't it? Just a little island of cold. So I guess we just like monitor it, and then every so often when things get too bad, that... Oh my god, look, he's cold now as well. Smarty Poos. Oh yeah, because it's Smarty Poos. Okay, that's fine. Never mind about him. Right, so who's going to actually do the tailor? Insufficient resource. Thimble fibre? Ah. Right, so we do actually need a new material. A thimble fibre? Oh, there's a new plant in the game, isn't there? That's one of the new things that they're adding. A new plant. In fact, more than one new plant, apparently. As well as there's muckroot and bristlebriar and all the usual stuff. Bristle blossom? Ah. Mealwood. Bristlebriar, mealwood. So somewhere, presumably, there is thistle, unless... Toasty environment. And also stifled. Huh, not sure what's going on there. So yeah, we do actually need some plants if we're actually going to do any tailoring, which is rather annoying. So no. In the meantime, let's actually do some digging into the ice. Now, I reckon we should dig it through here, because this is the warm area, and it'd be nice to actually get some cold air flowing in. Maybe that's how it works. I'll just get rid of that. Meanwhile, blossom seed, bristlebriar, and all the usual stuff, really. There are supposed to be like steam geysers and... Hey, what's that? Weezewort? Okay, that's one of the new plants. And a weezewort seed. Huh. It's actually, yeah, quite a large zone full of weird stuff. And there's some more there as well. If you actually look at the ice stuff, you can find just normal ice. You can find snow. We can also find polluted ice. As well as wolframite, which I believe is a new raw metal, as it calls it here. Right, so let's do a little dig into it. Let's get a bit further down here. Let's see what we can actually get. There's a vacuum in there, so that's not too bad. Let's have a look at the oxygen again. I believe they've changed this. They've simplified this as well. I think there used to be more than 4. Oh, hang on, I've got some, I think... Is it some old research? No, we've actually got... oh, that's good. We've actually got... I'll just get rid of all that. We've actually got a new duplicant, but we've also got the ability to make better batteries. So we should be doing that, I think. Thermo switch, I believe that's new? Yeah, that is indeed new. Automate switching power grids on or off based on ambient heat. So, presumably, the space heater, you would be able to do something about that. If things get too hot, you don't actually want it carrying on heating, so you could automate that particular system. In the meantime, let's actually just quickly choose a new person. Cooking, construction, and strength. Max looks fairly tasty. Let's give him a stupid name. Let's call him Chefy Twut. Chefy Twut. Right, mate, you are joining our colony of dickheads. So we'll need a new cot to rest your napper in, and all will be good. So we could do with prioritising this, so we can damn well get on with things. There we go. Meanwhile, that is disabled, so is that. This won't ever get done anything with, because god damn it. And matey boy there, Professor Cleancut, was just having a poo, so I just thought I'd draw your attention to that. Ah, there we go. Finally digging this stuff out. Now, carrying on with the temperature theme, this ration box here is unrefrigerated. Food will now spoil, and it will, in fact, it always did have a risk of that. But now it will actually give you indications, like warnings, if things are about to spoil. But what you can do is actually refrigerate things. So in theory, if I put that ration box... If I move the ration box over to the ice biome, it'd keep things nice and cold, which would be rather handy long term. Meanwhile, Professor Cleancut, they're both filling up the batteries quite nicely. We were actually going to make a new battery, weren't we? And then I got stuck looking at other stuff. So a big old battery can go here. This will provide quite a bit of heat, unfortunately. Electrical wire. Just to point out, there's also this new heavy watt wire. And because... normal electrical wire now, I believe, is limited. I haven't really looked into this too much. But yes, you will need heavy wattage wire if there's a lot of things all connected up, and you don't want your grid to explode and stuff like that. I'm talking of breaking. Circuits can indeed overload, buildings can overheat, and pipes can burst. as well further down the line when you're actually pumping water and stuff all over the place. And it will take damage apparently if the wrong element is piped into them. And that is direct from the changelog, so there. Right, so we're still waiting for them to do this. I think I didn't actually prioritise. There we go. And we'll see exactly what the temperature is going to be like over here. At the moment, it's already a bit cold, so they're not going to have much fun. So it might be an idea for me to... where is the space heater? There it is. It does require power. It also requires somewhere to put it. There we go. Seems to have been stuck. Okay. Electrical wire. We desperately need as much power as we can. I don't know, but I don't know if they've tweaked coal or hydrogen power yet. And because in the previous build, that was a bit faffy to actually make any use of. The hydrogen, it kind of like burnt through hydrogen way too quick. And the coal one, it just made everything carbon dioxide-y. Although at least you could mitigate that with things like your terrariums. Oh, everyone's gone to bed. So we'll have to wait until the morning, I think. So at the moment, Me Strong has been busy digging out... what is it? Just obsidian, oxygen, and all sorts of nonsense. But is there any point in gathering? This is all granite. This is actually not needed for what we need. Hang on, let's actually try and get some snow and ice. See if that actually does any good for us. What I'm planning on doing is putting a storage box. If we put it there, it's probably not ideal. I'd rather have it slightly because this is where the food maker is. But for the purposes of this, we'll put in. Actually, where actually do we need to... Where's the food thing? There it is. We'll put a ration box kind of here. We can also start storing everything in there instead. And hopefully... Oh my god. Now they've started dismantling all this. I think I might have just... Yeah. Wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing there. Oh god, they're all getting cold now. Look at how it's exposed all the wire. That's why... Oh, whatever. But yes, we will need to actually put the tiles in before we proceed, otherwise things get a bit silly, I guess. Let's just do that. For some reason they're all buggering off. Come on, come and do your jobs, you bastards. Whilst we're waiting for this to happen, something else that's in the game now, or will be in this update, mechanised airlocks, which I can't build just yet because it requires pressure management research. You can actually assign custom access, so not all the duplicants will be allowed through the door if you so desire. So you can get them doing things like if a duplicant is wearing a warm outfit, you can make them the only one that goes through the mechanised airlock into the cold zone. For instance, there'll be loads of other... I'm sure there'll be loads of other ideas that you can do with that, but that's the one that immediately springs to mind. Right, so with any luck, the space heater is about to be made, and we can see it in action. Eventually. Get on with it. And let's just have a look at the temperature overlay. And it's already starting to work because it's all connected up. And it's providing a moderate amount of heat. You can actually see things ever so slightly changing from blue to green. But probably not much higher than that. Although, I don't know, arguably it's getting towards warm. But if you need an area... I mean, because look at this. If I ever wanted to expand the base right out here, I mean, I'd have to go through. I mean, look at the amount of ice zones that are here. I mean, I would actually have to start putting space heaters here and there. Otherwise, stuff would happen. They'd all freeze to death, and bad shit would happen. Speaking of which, this room's getting very cold, or very warm. So let's actually enable the hydro fan, so someone can go and deal with that. So it does occur to me that you know, in the game as it stood or whatever, sometimes you get to the stage where you don't want any more duplicants because they're going to be idle and just going to eat you out of house and home. But now there's more for them to do with this bloody hydrofan thing. So you may consider having slightly more duplicants than you used to. You may not want to reject quite as many as you did before. Look down here. There's outhouse problems. Me Strong is sorting out the pong. I do actually love the detail on these things. There's a little smelly Christmas tree thing that you usually hang from your car. That is so cool. Okay, we won't do much else because I think I've demonstrated all the most of the stuff here. We can't seem to get hold of any of the bloody thimble fibre for now, and I'll have to work that out in time for the next episodes that we do. But what I really think we should do is disable this build. In fact, let's just deconstruct it. And hopefully they'll take all the food. Oh, by the way, if you actually choose this, you can actually see how stale things are getting down here. Like, I can see the mush bars getting stale. Oh, it's gone. They've dismantled it before I even finished talking. But yeah, if you go over here to this new ration box which we've built, as you can see, it actually is refrigerated. Sadly, there's nothing in it at the moment. But yes, that means things will stay fresh in there for a lot longer, which is all very good. Okay, so we'll stop here. Yeah, there are a few known issues with the build at the moment, but fingers crossed they'll actually be fixed by the time the patch goes out to everyone. At the moment, if you want to check this out before that goes live, you just have to opt in and go to the forums for details. It's all done via Steam, via the usual beta method anyway, so it's fairly easy to figure out. But it's going to be previewed for about a week, in which they'll iron out bugs and stuff like that. So all will be good. Okay, so thanks for watching. This has been Jamie from randomizeuser.com. Doubtless we'll be back in Oxygen Not Included soon, but until then, why not subscribe for all the latest blah blah blah. Yeah, bye.